Hello, hello. You don't see me, and there's a reason for that. If you didn't read the title of the stream, oh my goodness, oh my gosh. Wow. Wow. I've never seen that before. Wow. I guess at some point you see it all. Whoa. Okay. Alright, I just, wow, I totally had this whole intro planned of how I was going to introduce this event and whatnot, and it got turned on its head there when, Ghost Viper there, spun out. It's not raining, by the way. This is the 24 hours of Nürburgring, the second split, right? Split 1 took place last week. I was one of the racers in it, and this week's split 2, the next 14 teams are participating. So this is stint 7 of 12. Each stint is 2 hours, and yeah, these 14 drivers are going to go at it in the dark. I believe this one stays dark for the entire race, but what they're doing right now is their outlap. You can see they're going at a maximum of 80 miles per hour once around the track, and then they'll go and sit in the pits and wait for their teammate who are currently racing in stint 6 to enter the pits at the end of their racing lap. So once the car comes to a complete stop, they will then let their teammate know to go, and then we'll see, you know, whoever's in the lead will make their way out. So yeah, that's pretty much the situation right now. So just cycling through the grid, you know. They are going a little bit slower than necessary, but, you know, trying to save that fuel, I guess. But yeah, they're all making their way through right now. Guys, I'm not gonna lie, I can't believe I caught that. Let me pull up chat here. Talon, good to see you. P1, as always. Box. Hey. PhD Papa, good job today with the charity event, man. Good stuff that you're doing over there. Oh, Bricks, what's up, man? Strick, good to see you as well. Let me get this chat working on the screen so I can see it as you guys do it. If you guys mind doing me a favor, type in chat so I can see if I can see it. Boom, there it is. Thank you. Testing. Okay, good. Yeah, so I have no idea where these teams currently are in their current stint, but I have a feeling it should be a blast because, well, I mean, it's a blast with rain, but, just in the darkness is a challenge enough. So, I'm going to be watching. I got a nice glass of wine here, so, not too much, not too little though, just enough to have a good time. And I hope that you guys, have a good time watching this with me as I do my rudimentary version of comms. That's right. That's right. Oh, do you now? Please wax poetic about it. I assume it was you behind the camera for the event today. And I'll just say this, NRL wasn't always like that, right? NRL had its growing pains too. And even this past season, I had a mishap where the host couldn't be heard. Nice. Stig, if you don't mind me asking, do you know who's in the lead so I can get the camera on them once they go in the pits? Because I got to start a timer here. I know I can use other media to find out, but yeah. Yeah, man. All right, these guys are on the Dodinger Strait. Dodinger? Sorry. My American is kicking in. So it looks like they will make it just in time. So last week, oh man. Last week was crazy with the amount of lead switching and whatnot. It was very intense, very intense to see. Let me put out a reminder here. No idea who's in the lead, so I'm going to be scanning through the pits. It looks like Ghost Viper used all their fuel. Oh man, that was not a great outlap by them. Sorry for the rapid cycling through. Just waiting for the first movement here. Okay, so Transatlantic Racing is in the lead, so I'll keep the camera here on Speed Hunter. And yeah, once they get going, I gotta hit a button here to start the timer for clinch. Oh, you know, just you know, the night before Mother's Day, so you know, while I'm race directing and whatnot, I'm finishing up these cards, and you know, I had everything hidden in the basement here, so I'm gonna bring it upstairs to the kitchen. You know, all the stuff she'll see when she comes downstairs from waking up. So you know, that's the plan tonight. And then I'll be splitting some duty, setting up or finishing writing up these cards and whatnot. Nice. I hear that, man. You know, sometimes a break is necessary. All right, let us see what we have here. And then of course, you know, if at some point during the broadcast, you know, the baby cries and I gotta go handle that situation, but hopefully it doesn't happen anytime soon. Fingers crossed, knock on wood. Yes, let's. Yeah, so we're just waiting here, and we'll see what's happening. I have no idea what the gaps are in the previous stint, so I'm gonna find out here with you guys. Excuse me. Also, a shameless plug, you know, if you enjoy this and you know you haven't hit that subscribe button, you know, feel free to do so. Every little bit helps, and it's free 99 with a 99-cent coupon, so you know what that is. Hey Parquet, what's up? There we go. Speed Hunter, I appreciate you, bro. As you're waiting in the pit, watching me, watching you. I have to imagine that you'll be laser focused in here in a couple seconds, but appreciate the sub, bro. Oh, what is this Stig? Thank you for the All-Star tier membership.
Has become a member.
Welcome back. Look at what a little shameless plug can do. I know, right? This is what you sign up for, bro. I'm just playing tricks on you guys. We're gonna spend 2 hours watching a car in the pits, and I gotta give it up to these the pit crew. They're standing ready. They're in a ready stance. Like, look at this guy on the right here, right? He's bent down. He's in that stance. His legs are probably burning by now, but he's like, you know what? I'm good to go. I can wait. I can wait all night. You know, that's what he's on. He's been training for this. 24 hours of crouched position. Yep. Any hour now. Something's gonna move. Somebody's gonna move. I know, man. That's why they pay that guy the big bucks. I mean, look at this bum right here, standing next to the tire, right in the middle of the screen. He's just like, man, we good. We better get ready. Rocking the Puma though. He's definitely not locked in. Definitely not. That guy all the way on the left, he's like crossing his arms. He's like, no, man, what is going on? And it's like, yo, just be easy, man. Just be ready. What is your job anyway? Like, aren't you supposed to be picking up that other tire? There you go. Get back down. Crouch down. Hey, pick your head up. Pick your head up, bro. Oh my goodness. This guy all the way on the left, man, he's just like a spoiled brat, crossing his arms and whatnot. Like, come on, man, be a team player. Oh, there we go. I told him to get ready. All right, so now the countdown begins for clinch. So when my phone goes off, or slightly before, we'll be going. He'll be going. It's about 15 minutes and now 20 seconds from now. So let's see how much Speed Hunter fuels up here. All right, up to 60. Common strategy that we saw from last week, where that first stint on softs, you'll fuel up to 60. You know, the jury's out on, you know, whether or not, you know, we have 14 racing laps here. So these guys, their first lap is lap 2. Their last lap is lap 15, right? So do the math there. That is 14 racing laps, an out lap and an in lap. So yeah, either you split that into 7 and 7, or you go with something like a 4, a 5, and a 5. I know I did a 2-stop. A lot of people do 2 stops, but you know, depending on the situation, especially if you get damage, you know, anything could be happening here. But yeah, you know, just taking a look here, this can't be realistic, right? Like, the outside looks pretty realistic. The inside of the car, the cockpit, you know, for it to be this pitch black, I mean, it's just like they painted on black paint, bro. Like, that's looking like dark. And you know, we have the luxury of just taking in the starry night there. Speed Hunter obviously doesn't, as he makes his way out of the Grand Prix section and onto the Nordschleife. He's going to want to get as far ahead as possible, because Baba Yaga, the DMR endurance team, is currently fueling up, and you know, in a couple seconds here is going to be out of the pits. So you know, we're going to cut to them and see how much they fuel. They fueled a little bit less. They're driving the M6. No comment on the car. You know, it is what it is. I'm sure he means well. For those of you who are new to this channel, you know, there's just something about me and BMWs that don't necessarily jive well. But you know, I'm sure the DMR endurance team, you know, they're gonna be looking to make some gains here. They're just under 2 minutes out. And that, you know, over the course of 2 hours, you know, that can evaporate one mistake from anybody. You know, a 2 minute, a 3 minute gap can become a loss. So, you know, we're gonna stick with Baba Yaga for now until we start seeing, you know, the third place driver make their way out. And, you know, the countdown timer is continuing on here for Clinge. Currently sitting at about 12 minutes and 20 seconds. He's part of the One Community by SBR team, the 911 numbered car. And yeah, I assume a disconnect happened relatively early on in the last stint. Either that, or it happened late and they were already, you know, a lap down. But they're really looking at you know, a gap of of 2 down, 2 oh no, Cubs won. Jeez. You know, close to 2 laps down. So, you know, it's going to be an uphill battle for them, but, you know, we've had people unlap themselves from the leaders last week, and, you know, that's not out of the question this week. Gotcha, Moose. All right, so P3 is now refueling. That would be... Wow, okay. All right, so the number 16 car here is Vez Racing Team making their way out. Let's see here. I believe they're using the Lexus, a fairly popular choice. And right behind that, actually, we're looking at a pretty... Oh! We have the S7R Phoenix team member Cole Trickle, and right behind them, oh no, we had a oh no, Clinge disconnected. Okay, hold on, guys, I gotta look at that. So in the meantime, we'll stick here with SRP MR Mr. Racing 40, and I gotta handle some race director duties and, you know, make sure tickets are created and whatnot. Let's see. Yeah, so oh man, the one community team, yeah, that is quite the situation here. They were serving a 15-minute and 38-second wait because of a disconnect in Stint 6, and their representative for this split, they disconnected without ever having left the pits. So it remains to be seen. Certainly, it's going to be quite a large penalty going into Stint 8. Certainly not something that I would want to experience, but you know, that's the nature of you know, endurance racing when you have multiple stints, and you know, sometimes the reliability of the Polyphony Digital / PlayStation servers isn't necessarily up to the task, but you know, knocking on wood that we don't have any more disconnects here. All right, so in the time that I had to look away, we were there's about a 5-second separation between Mr. Racing and Cole Trickle here, and it looks like that, you know, that might you know, continue to close here. Meanwhile, you know, Cole Trickle is probably going to be trying to do his best to make sure that, you know, he's closing the gap and focusing on P3. But surely he sees the headlights. In fact, they're almost on the same corner right now. Yeah, you can see here, you know, the team representative of, I believe this is Full Throttle Racing. Yes, Full Throttle Racing in the number 71 car. It's gonna be tough to see for sure in the dark, but pretty. Actually, hold on. Let's do this because nope, I can't do it here. You know what? I'm not even gonna risk it because one click and then lobby goes away and all that kind of stuff. But I'm pretty sure this is the Full Throttle Racing team here in P5 right now. So you know they're gonna be looking to close that gap. All right, so let me take a look down the grid. I promise to come back to this battle. In P6, we have Deputy Fishtail running on for the Infinite Octane / Eclipse or X Eclipse racing team. Two factions coming together to form a team here. Deputy Fishtail, his last league appearance was right here in NRL. You know, where he didn't make the final, I don't believe, but you know, he put up a valiant fight in each of the first 3 rounds in Division A on Fridays, I believe. So you know, he's definitely keeping the wheels greased, and he's going to be looking to close this 1 minute 3 gap by as much as possible in the next 14 racing laps. 14 seconds behind him, we have TBC Iceman, who is racing for Medway Racing League, partners of the IRO. TBC Iceman with a pretty sizable gap behind him to Steve-O. Steve-O is racing for Speed Buddy Racing. So it looks like we're going to start to see the gaps increase, you know, from P7 down to P8 down to P9. You know, you look at the gap here between Steve-O and Kerpale, 3 minutes and 41 seconds. But so far, all of these cars are on the lead lap. I think Kerpale will be the first car that is a lap down. Kerpale is racing for the IRO V2 endurance team. I believe he's in the Porsche. No, yes, he's in the Porsche. I can just about make it out, and it does look like the sun's coming up. So, you know, by the end of this stint, you know, should be able to see everything a little bit more clearly. And there I can see the number 2. So yes, definitely IRO and V2 endurance, and we might end up having a battle on our hands later on in this stint between him and Race Asylum Subi Mark, who is racing for 10/10ths Racing, 10th place, car number 10. Well, got himself a half-second penalty. Not too sure where that might have occurred. Let's see if we can find out. Now, 15 seconds ago, he already had it, so perhaps he got it in the Schumacher S. Fortunately, the replay does not go back far enough to catch that. So now, let's go back to the leader here, who's starting lap 3. So, you know, for sure we see that you know, Speed Hunter here is a lap up on half the field, depending on you know, how far back P11, 12, 13, and 14 are from P10. We might have a 2-lap up situation. Now, what I can't understand is how Cole Trickle is sending that message while how are you sending that message while racing? Can somebody explain this from S7R, how he's able to are there 2 Cole Trickles? I'm seriously confused. Stint 6. Yes, Stint 6. He has 4 hands. There it is. There's 90 of us. Okay, gotcha. Okay, so we're obviously I'm just gonna leave it there. There's at least 2 of you guys, because that is just wild. But yeah, this gap came down half a second from the last time we had a look at it. For Mr. Racing here, there's certainly no need to rush it. And I'm sure the race engineers for Full Throttle Racing, if they have one, they're surely going to be telling Mr. Racing here, to not rush it. One overtake at a time, and you definitely don't want to. Make any mistakes getting overly aggressive or compromise your strategy, right? Because the entire field right now is running on soft tires, and you don't want to burn them out doing battles for entire laps. So yeah, the gap is steadily coming down. 1.9 seconds now. So we're gonna stay right here for a little bit. Nuke is the race engineer for Cole, so one can only imagine how Nuke is encouraging Cole to make sure that he keeps his eyes in front, eyes on the prize, right? If we take a look at Cole here, he's got a 19-second gap to the car in front. I believe that is. Nope, I'm not even gonna try and guess. 'Cause I don't. Sometimes the PSNs are on this driver swap, but yeah, it looks like he's certainly faster than P3 ahead. It's just a question of can he hold off P5? Oh no, P5! Oh, he's in the wall. Oh my goodness. So just like that, just patience. Oh man, what a big mistake there. Hey, so I don't know any of the corner names, but this section right here is notorious for catching people out. Slow corner here. Definitely want to get on the power nice and easy, but he just punched it a little bit too early, and unfortunately that's gonna end up in damage for Mr. Racing there. Fortunately for him, he has quite a sizable gap to Deputy Fishtail behind, and he had been increasing that gap. I think when they first came out of the pits, they were 1 minute and 3 seconds. So Mr. Racing had been moving in the right direction. Roger, thank you for the 22 months, man. You've been here from the beginning, man. Appreciate you, bro. Yeah, so looking at Cole here, he might have been distracted by what was happening behind him, but certainly now he's feeling a lot more comfortable with that gap, and it's likely only going to increase as Mr. Racing behind has that damage. Now, going back to the front here, Speed Hunter with a 1 minute and 56 second gap to P2 behind. This gap has remained relatively steady. I think the previous times that I was looking, it was around 1 minute 57, 1 minute 55. Generally, Speed Hunter is doing an excellent job as Baba Yaga actually sets the fastest lap of the race so far at 8 minutes 7.069. Speed Hunter has been doing a great job managing the gap. If we're looking at I was just going to say, if we're going to look at a 1 second difference per lap in terms of regular pace, then you know, surely Speed Hunter will be handing off to the next stint with the lead, provided there are no mistakes like what we saw with Mr. Racing. But you know, right when I said that, he was half a second purple. So as we line up the sectors here, you know, the what, 15, 16 sectors around this track, you know, he's still purple, and he's still hanging with you know, the fastest man on track currently. And in fact, you know, right when I looked at the gap again, it's up to 1 minute 57. So, you know, things are looking really good right now for Speed Hunter. You know, surely, you know, they would want to increase the gap even further, but you know, the priority number one, right? Priority number one is always to make sure that, you know, you stay on the track, you don't visit barrier, you fulfill the strategy, and you hand it off to the next guy, because we're just over halfway, right? Literally. And you know, you don't want to do anything right now to jeopardize your team. You know, if you can get back into the pits, even if you lose a little bit of time, let's say he loses a minute over this stint, that's still better than, you know, having to do an extra pit stop, running out of fuel, right? You know, so it's just about remaining focused, even if you're not, you know, setting sub 8-minute laps and whatnot, like, you know, some of the aliens in split 1. You just want to get it around the track. So speaking of fastest lap so far, Baba Yaga is going to want to just chip away, right? So with this stint included, there are 6 stints left, which is 12 hours. So you have 12 hours, just under 12 hours, to close the gap of 1 minute 56 seconds. So let's do some math here, right? 1 minute 56 seconds divided by 12 hours means that you need to close, well, I don't know if somebody in chat can do the math, but I'm guessing, if I had to guess, it's about 15 to 20 seconds per stint, right? So you're looking at 2 minutes. So in 6 stints you have to do 1 minute, so 1 minute, so you're looking at 10 seconds roughly, 10 seconds per stint. So you can play the long game here, but if I were on Baba Yaga's team, right, if I were in the number 24 car, I'd be telling him, listen, just get 10 seconds and then hand it off to the next guy. He can get 10 seconds, and if they make a mistake up front, we can capitalize on it. Numbers are the answer. There we go. There you go. And ATV, thank you for the sub. Okay, moving down to Mr. Blasi. Can you at least 10,000? Yeah. Well, last week I raced in this exact stint. And there was a little bit of rain, but not enough to make you pit for intermediates, but just enough to scare you. Okay, so the Vez racing team sitting here solidly in P3, and actually has been increasing the gap to P4 behind since the start of this race. I believe at the start of the stint rather, we were looking at a 19-second gap, or maybe even closer, and so far he's done a good job just peeking over the 23.1 to Cold Trickle behind of S7R Phoenix. You know, so just keeping it steady. I'm sure somebody's in his ear telling him, listen, you're quick right now. You're quick right now. Quicker than the car behind. Maybe not necessarily quicker than the car in front. Yeah. Yeah. Now, looking at Cold Trickle, You know, last time we looked at him, the gap was 12 seconds, so that damage from Mr. Racing behind is clearly taking a toll. So, you know, surely there's no need to look back any further, right? That 2-second gap in closing surely is going to widen until Mr. Racing decides to come in and pit. GT45, thank you for the sub, bro. So yeah, not too sure if Cole is running at max pace, but if he is, you know, that's fine. You know, again, you just want to be able to keep it on the track and hand off to the next driver with, you know, the satisfaction of knowing that you had as few mistakes as possible, right? So 24 seconds, even if that balloons up, you know, we've seen it. We've seen over 2 minutes made and lost over the course of a stint. So, you know, you just got to stay positive in that. And should nothing else happen, you know, P4 certainly is a good result. I mean, listen, I'm a driver, not a member of the team, but a driver for S7R Me Cougar, and you know, we ended up in P13 last week. So, you know, anything can happen over the course of a race. You know, we're higher up, we were further down, and then, you know, that's where we ended up. So, you know, consistency is the key. All right, so let's take a look at Mr. Racing here. Oh my goodness, oh guys, I apologize, we missed an overtake here. You know, while I was cycling through the grid, it looks like Deputy Fishtail lost a position to TBC Iceman. TBC Iceman of the Medway Racing League, Deputy Fishtail of Infinite Octane Eclipse Racing. An overtake happened somewhere there, and you know, Iceman, surely, if anyone from his team is listening to this broadcast, you know, they would be saying for sure that, hey, listen, we know Mr. Racing has a you know, damage here. That gap is coming down precipitously. 10 seconds since the last time we looked. So it really just becomes a question of, okay, if we weren't going to do the two-stop strategy now, surely we have to do the two-stop strategy, right? Because you know, staying out with this damage for 7 laps, that's not going to cut it, right? Especially when you're losing 10-15 seconds per lap, maybe more. You see Ghost Viper gaming there in the background, right? He's a lap down, so he's eagerly looking to unlap himself. Surely you can see up there in the front as they approach the first carousel. This is a prime overtaking opportunity here in the AMG. One of my, if not most, no, I was not going to find a way to use the adjective practically there, so let me rephrase the sentence. It's my favorite Group 3 car, but unfortunately with error tuning, it's not always the best. Certainly struggled at Daytona for most drivers, where the Corvette and the Lexus shine, but on this track in particular, the AMG is top notch, for sure. So yeah, you can see just in the course of the past couple corners here, he's really been closing in. And usually, you know, when you have front bumper damage like that, you see the effects in straight line speed. But he also has, you know, damage to one of the wheels as he flashes Mr. Racing there. But I don't think Mr. Racing is obliged to move out of the way, right? Remember, he's a lap up, so the overtake is going to have to happen legitimately. So now Ghost Viper, oh, sorry, wrong. Now Ghost Viper, having gotten by, right? He does have a little bit of time to clear Mr. Racing here, and it looks like that's going to be easily done. Listen, no BMW slander today, man. I'm just going to keep it neutral. So yeah, you can see, you know, just the gaps are likely coming down at quite the clip, right? So we looked a minute ago, and you know, that's 6 more seconds that Iceman is taken out of Mr. Racing. So you know, we might be on for something here, especially if Mr. Racing decides not to come into the pits. Mr. Racing and Iceman here are both on their 3rd racing lap. So if Mr. Racing was to go into the pits now, right, that's 3 of 14. So he'd have to split 11 laps, 6 and 5, which is totally doable. So you know, surely he's got to be weighing the options here as he makes his way towards the end of the lap, at the end of the back straight. So let's see what he does. I would have half a mind to actually go and fix the damage right now and then split the rest into 2, but it looks like he's gonna stay out. So you know, he's gonna take the hit as he sets his best lap, which is 8 minutes 31 seconds. So that is not necessarily close to the fastest on track. And we're gonna look at Iceman here. Iceman, his last lap was 8 minutes 17 seconds, 0.2. And he's 5 seconds faster than that, so we're looking at 8 minutes 10 seconds. So currently, given their situation, we're looking at maybe another 2 laps and Iceman would have Mr. Racing caught. Eight minutes 11 seconds. So yeah, we're looking at a 20 second differential here between these two. Now Deputy Fishtail behind, no damage, so he's just got to get his head down and, you know, keep at it. He's got a sizable gap to Steve-O behind, and so, you know, surely you're just gonna want to just keep to your strategy, you know, keep your pace, stay consistent, don't get too down about, you know, an overtake happening. You know, there's certainly, you know, more than enough time to make up a 10-second gap, both in this stint or over the course of the next couple stints, right? I'm sure Deputy's like, you know, listen, once I switch my tires, we're going for it. But yeah, Steve-O running solid, kind of in an island by himself, not near any lapping traffic. There's, you know, a couple cars behind him there. That's likely the leader who's about to start their 6th lap, as he has a 7 minutes 7 seconds. No, you know what? That might. I'm not too sure, but he's just under a lap down. So you know, a lot of work to do there, but, you know, absolutely no pressure from anyone behind. Okay, Curb Hale, the Canadian, holding off our Racing Asylum Subi Mark of the 10/10 racing team, currently sitting in 10th. You know, he's doing a good job to maintain the gap. You know, he definitely want to focus on you know, keeping that gap, as we see, just as we look here. You know, Mark is making some inroads here, so you know, encouragement has to be sent to Curb Hale from his team to not be looking in the mirrors, not focusing too much on the timers, just focusing on the apex, focusing on the braking points and the acceleration markers, right? Keeping your eyes on what's the next action of your car, and then let the rest handle itself. Okay, so 10th racing in 10th, the number 10 car. Race Asylum, Mark on loan to this team. certainly doing well. Last lap set an 8-minute 10.8. You know, certainly a fast lap there. And like Steve-O, sizable gap behind, fully focused on what's in front. As Ghost Viper Gaming, you know, we just were on board with him, and you know, he was unlapping himself from P5, so you know, that's certainly got to be an encouraging sign of you know, what's to come. Maybe he's thinking he can unlap himself further. Okay. Speaking of Ghost Viper Gaming, you know, he's completely cleared the blue flag warnings. He's on a tear right now, and you know, he's among the fastest drivers on track, right? Only 3.5 seconds off of the fastest lap. All the while sporting damage. I'm not sure when he got that damage, but you know, that pace might be slowing a little bit. But again, Toretto behind him is 2 minutes and 20 seconds behind. So, you know, in terms of P10 and P12, you know, not too much to worry about, especially as he's coming towards the end of the stint. If he's on the 3-step strategy, he can get this repaired without losing too much time. As we look on with MF Toretto here, racing for Garage 46, formerly known as Poison Racing Team, I believe. You know, just, you know, trying to make steady gains, avoid, you know, not last at this point. But again, we're only halfway through this this 24 hours of Nürburgring, so you know, all of this can be made up, right? Surely he may not be looking towards you know, winning the race outright, but you know, there are points available for the team if they can you know, get a couple more positions in the next. Well, we're looking at maybe 11.5 hours. And then currently bringing up the rear, we have Mr. Floyd driving the Nissan of... Sorry, I have my notes here. I just wish I could see the car number. Number 9. Okay, of Race Asylum Orange. Gotcha. Okay, so you know, currently last in this lobby, but not last overall in the race, as he pulls over nicely for his Race Asylum teammate, or I should say community mate, but not his teammate for this race. Oh, as he gets a little loose there. Not too sure what happened there, but you know, he makes it out of the Grand Prix section without too much issue. Let's see what went on here. So he pulls over. All right, now this should be a pretty typical run of the mill. You know what? He missed his braking point. You know, sometimes that happens. A little lapse of concentration, and you know, you might see yourself flying off. But you know, fortunately, it wasn't in an area with a barrier in the immediate vicinity. But you know, looking at you know, the one community by SBR, you know, racing teams double disconnect situation. You know, there's going to be a sizable gap between P13 and P14 going into Stint 8. You know, a reminder that we do have 14 teams in Split 2, as well as Split 1, and you know, the 14th place team, one community, was anticipating coming out of the pits 15 minutes and 38 seconds after the leader began working on their car, and you know, about 7 minutes in, their driver for stint 7 actually disconnected from this lobby as well. So, you know, a double dose of bad luck, a disconnection in 2 lobbies in a row doesn't spell good fortune for you know, one community going forward into stint 8. However, you know, they might not be the only ones who ever have a disconnect. You know, I don't wish that upon anyone, but you know, we've seen it. We've seen even the leader disconnect. So you know, you have to do a calculation there. But yeah. All right, going back to the front, we have a 1 second penalty. I'll tell you, man. Sometimes you just miss those little incidents here. But you know, if it's no damage, in my eyes, it's no problem. But you can see that gap since the last time we looked at Speed Hunter, it was about 1 minute 55 seconds. It has dropped a little bit. We are looking at P1 currently, so I think we should be good on that front. So last time we looked, it was at about 1 minute 55 seconds. Now it's currently 1 minute 49, so we're looking at about a 6-second change in the past, I want to say maybe 10 minutes. Now, you know, Nürburgring, it's one of the worst places where the penalty marker is, because you know, you lose speed down this entire straight, and half second is bad enough. Well, 1 second, you know, that's going to surely cut out quite a bit of this gap as Baba Yaga flow approaches the same section. But you know, currently looks like Baba Yaga, according to the track map, is just going past the first carousel. No, that's not right. He's past there. But Speed Hunter into the pits. First pit stop, likely of 2, if I had to guess. But yeah, 14 liters of fuel / 14% of fuel, because in this game, for whatever reason, every car holds 100 liters of fuel. Don't ask me why that is, but that's the way it is. Yeah, so Flo here just making his way, making his way to the second carousel now. And a tricky one, that corner. You can see his fuel is starting to run low, probably doesn't have enough for another lap. It seems like Speed Hunter fueled for 1 stop. Speed Hunter actually fueled to 60 at the beginning of this race. I think Baba Yaga fueled to 56, so he might be running a little bit lower on fuel. Yeah, but the tire wear definitely a factor here, as he's 5 seconds down on his best time. But that's still, all things considered, a good lap if he were to finish it. 8 minute 12 seconds. You know, that's faster than a lot of drivers out here. You know, for various reasons. So, you know, as he went through the straight and Speed Hunter served that 1 second penalty, it looks like overall he lost 4 seconds because of that in one straight. So, you know, like I said before, for Baba Yaga and the DMR endurance team, you know, they're focusing on chipping away, right? So, you know, we've done 5 racing laps so far, or these two have done 5 racing laps so far, right? And the goal for this team would have been, okay, take out 10 seconds. So they're just about halfway towards that goal. Okay, now looking here at, and again, I keep forgetting. Sorry guys, let me, oh my goodness. Let's do this. Number 16 car. That's racing team. Apologies. Oh, almost a little incident there in the corner for the YouTube corner. This corner right, oh my gosh, another slide there. Listen, that corner is called the YouTube corner for a reason. So many compilations of cars crashing, getting on the power a little bit too early. It's ultra deceptive there, but you know, he did a good job of keeping it together. Perhaps aided by the TCS that's running now. Tire, especially that front left tire, is so worn, and he already has damage from a previous crash. You know, he definitely doesn't want to end up sideways again, because, you know, in the time that it takes to recover from that, you know, he might have the Sector 7 racing driver of Sector 7 Racing Phoenix, Cole Trickle, right on his tailpipe. But surely, like the first two drivers, you know, the anticipation of Blasi here going into the pits, you know, to get this damage repaired, to get refueled, to get new tires, get more grip, get more aero. Surely it's a welcome relief here. Typically on this back straight is when I like to take a couple deep breaths, just you know, relax for a little bit, get yourself recentered, get yourself refocused, fix your posture, check your hand positioning, check the weather. But you know, in this race, we're looking at sunny, pleasant conditions, S01 the entire race, as reflected by the real life weather at the Nürburgring this weekend. So there's no threat of weather here. And as anticipated, right into the pits he goes. So Cole Trickle, very much on the same strategy, it looks like, closing that gap down quite a bit because of the damage to the car in front. So it's going to be able to make up you know, quite a bit of time here, and likely even more important, he's increased that gap to Mr. Racing behind by 56 seconds. And I'm not sure if something else happened here, but Iceman, you know, he's closed this gap down quite a bit, 10.9 seconds to P5. So you know, TBC Iceman is going to be salivating, you know, as you can see him there in the background, right? You know, coming down the straight, can just about make it out, right? If he's racing in this view, he sees him going up the hill there, and he's like, listen, I can get him for sure now. On long straights, just look at the time just continuing to fall further and further. 1.5 seconds, almost 2 seconds. We might be talking 3 or 4 seconds on this straight alone, right? It's as if he's serving that 1 second penalty every time. And yeah, down to 7 seconds. So just in that time alone, you know, he's closed the gap precipitously. Almost got sideways there. That would have been tragic, but you know, we're looking at a 6.9 second gap now here between Iceman and Mr. Racing here. So the battle to look at for sure is going to be P5 versus P6. Now there's a fuel advantage here for Mr. Racing. He saved 5 liters more of fuel, so the gap, assuming that they fuel to equal levels, is going to be, you know, a little bit larger when Iceman comes out of the pits, as Deputy Fishtail behind him comes into the pits. So far the first 7 drivers all on the same pit strategy, likely a 2-stop race. So they're gonna either go 4 or 5 on this next stint, and then one more pit stop to close it out. And let me tell you, you know, I thought, you know, had they fueled to the same level, we might be talking about something else, but Iceman managed to close the gap even further by underfueling to 51 liters compared to Mr. Racing 60. So 3.5 seconds is now the gap. And if I had to guess, Mr. Racing is probably going to do his longer stint now, right? So they're starting lap 7, right? This would be their sixth lap, their 6th racing lap. So they did 5 prior to this each, right? You have to do two 5-lap stints and a 4-lap stint. So if I was a betting man, Iceman might be on a 4-lap stint, and then a five lap stint after this, and Mr. Racing vice versa, 5-lap stint now, 4-lap stint later. But you know, that could all change in just a moment here, as the just in the Grand Prix section alone, the gap has come down another second. So certainly Iceman, you know, you definitely don't want to get overly eager, overly aggressive, right? Because we saw that between Mr. Racing and Cole Trickle up ahead, and that ended up burning Mr. Racing. So, you know, now Mr. Racing, instead of being the one who's chasing, he's the one who's being chased. So that gap to Cole Trickle in front is at 1 minute 7 seconds, but surely there's more pressing things here. Just making sure that you stick to your lines, make your car as wide as possible. You don't necessarily have to go out of your way to over defend, but you also don't have to just, you know, let the car behind overtake. Oh, it gets a little bit wide. The tires are going to be dirty now for sure. The double right-hander here, you know, typically you can do this flat. Okay, and he still can with dirty tires, so that's good. That's good. Maybe they're dirty, but they're still fresh. As you can see, the moon in the background and the sun rising in the front, foreground. You know, just closing. Iceman with you know, close to slipstream advantage, as well as the fact that he has a couple liters less of fuel on top of any pace differential there. You know, Iceman is surely going to be you know, looking to get this moved done quickly, excuse me. Complex series of corners here. You definitely want to get the angle of attack correct. Not any curb on there. Good exit. Curb on the exit is fine, but you don't want the inside curb there. You know, definitely need confidence to keep your foot down. Not on this left-hander, but the sharper left-hander. Making sure you brake early enough to get the car in. And second, very well done. Okay, now you're going to be feeling the effects of dirty air, but you definitely want to do a late apex here. Very good. Flat through this kink. Lift as minimally as possible. Back on the power. Still closing the gap. Just about to be under 1 second. Don't want to lose the car control here. Very easy to do. But you definitely want to be on the power as early as possible here. And, you know, it looks like he lost a little bit on the braking, but on the acceleration out of the corner, you know, he did a good job there. Another deceptive corner here. You want to carry a lot of speed into this one, but you don't want to get on the power too early, otherwise you might lose it. Very good job there by Iceman. Yeah, it's tantalizingly close. As you can see, a little bit of morning fog. Oh my goodness! Oh no! Damage for both cars! Oh no! It's where patience would have been a virtue there. Okay, so you can see Mr. Racing in front here, right? He is going to essentially, looks like maybe miss his braking point. Yeah, definitely missed his braking point. He did what I thought many drivers, including myself, do. Okay, which is where you think that you're on the flat out section when you actually still have one more series of right hand turns to go before you're actually here. I've done that mistake so many times myself, and it looks like it just played out in an unfortunate manner for Mr. Racing here. And upon rejoin, it looks like he just collected TBC Iceman here. So now the initiative goes with TBC Iceman 3.1 seconds in front here with front bumper damage, and Mr. Racing with front bumper and both front tires damaged, right? Just after starting their stint, right, mind you. So either they have to take an extra pit stop, which I'm sure they don't want to do, or they have to ride out these next 4 or 5 laps with the damage. Now we're, the impetus is on Deputy Fishtail here in P7, who may have been suffering with a pace disadvantage prior to this, but now surely with Infinite Octane, and Eclipse feeding this knowledge to him, or maybe he's watching this broadcast, the impetus would be on him to close down that gap. We saw it before, every lap with just front bumper damage, cost the car with damage maybe about 20 seconds off of their normal pace. So surely within a lap he'd be in striking distance of P6, and in a lap and a quarter of P5, and then if they both go into pit, it's an easy overtake, right? You lose roughly 30 seconds, right, just to get in the pits and fix the damage. There's also the possibility, right, of you're trying to get to the end of lap 15, right? There's the possibility of trying to do 7 laps on soft tires. It would be very difficult, and you'd have to significantly slow your pace to just make sure you're conserving tires. But it's not impossible. Mediums, for the most part, have been a non-starter here. Yeah, it really just depends on what they decide to do here. So both of them are making their way down the back straight now. You can see Iceman, you can see Mr. Racing. You can't quite see, oh, there you go, you see Deputy Fishtail just coming around the corner there. So already that gap is closing down, and obviously the time to repair the different damages is going to be an issue here. So Iceman decides to go in and fix it right now. His crew has the tires out right now, so we'll take a look and we'll see as both drivers make their way in. What are they going to do? Deputy Fishtail is making his way past right now. He's gonna get close to inheriting these positions. Iceman is making his way out. Deputy Fishtail just took 6th place over, so it looks like Iceman didn't really worry too much about refueling. He just got the damage fixed and was able to stay 5 seconds out in front of Deputy Fishtail. Deputy Fishtail inheriting 6th place with Mr. Racing just behind. So it looks like both drivers were like, hey, listen, let's bite the bullet right now and just try to hold on to track position rather than riding out that damage and then just to save on an extra pit stop. So it remains to be seen now if the pace advantage is still there. It does currently look like Mr. Racing is falling a little bit behind Deputy Fishtail, as that gap hovers somewhere around 4 seconds. If you look at Mr. Racing's fastest lap, it's 8 minutes and 30 seconds, but I'm not too sure that there hasn't been a single lap in which Mr. Racing hasn't finished with damage. I think each one of these laps here, lap 2, lap 3, lap 4, lap 5, lap 6, all of them have had a damaged car here for the Full Throttle Racing team. So he's in a good position right now to try and fight for P5 again, but I think we're going to certainly see this P5, 6, 7 battle evolve as Steve-O is starting to make those small incremental gains, right? They're aiming for 5 seconds a stint, right? If they want to catch P7, if that's their goal, 5 seconds a stint. Not 5 seconds a stint, I would say 6 seconds a stint. And you should be right about there. Steve-O kind of an island by himself. 3 minutes 20 seconds, almost half a lap behind his curb pail. 53 seconds in front to Mr. Racing here. Just gonna cycle through the grid really quickly, guys. Curb pail still holding off Mark behind him of 10 tenths. Number 10 car currently in 10th. 10s all around, but it seems like the gains are there, right? Every time we look, it's a little bit closer. Marky Mark doing a good job of staying out of trouble, head down, focused in on what's ahead. Big gap to Ghost Viper Gaming behind. He's looking to have one less 10, right? 10 tenths. Number 10 car, P10. He wants P9. Ghost Viper Gaming, right? Unlapped himself previously. Said a good 8 minute 10 seconds here, but it looks like it might have been a pit lap. Is that a Gran Turismo glitch? Last lap was in 8 minute 18 seconds, 0.186. I'm not too sure if that was an actual pitting lap, because most drivers were pitting at the end of lap 6, I believe, and going into lap 7. But yeah, again, sizable gap in front, sizable gap behind. So it's just about making the little gains, just like P2 and P1's battle. P12, same situation, even larger gap behind to the Race Asylum Orange team. 5 minutes 43 seconds, and increasing just now to 5 minutes 44 seconds. And then again, the Race Asylum team, they are 22 minutes off the lead, but they surely will not be in last place come the start of Stint 8 because of one community by SBR, with the double disconnects in Stint 6 and 7. So that's going to be a heavy penalty assessed to them. So they'll have to start quite a bit back. Looking at the lead now here, Speed Hunter post first stint of tires managed to increase the gap by another 2 seconds. I know we were down to 1 minute 46 the last time we looked at this. But he's holding steady now, 1 minute 48 seconds. So number 93 car looking pretty good here for Transatlantic, and just want to keep it nice and clean, even if you don't get purples. You just want to be able to hand it off to the next driver of your team without running into too many issues here. The exact opposite for DMR Endurance, right? Again, you want to be setting purples. You want to be pushing the envelope over and over and over again as much as you can, right? Last lap was the fastest lap of the race, 8 minutes 5 seconds. He's looking to best that. He's looking to do even better, because they want to close that gap a little bit faster than scheduled for Stint 12, right? I'm sure they want to be in the lead by Stint 12 start. So Baba Yaga's certainly pushing that BMW ever so slightly closer to Speed Hunter out in front. Vez Racing Team, number 16 car of Lassie here. One of the many Lexi that people are choosing to select. A good all-around car here, especially when you can change the aero setup from race to race. Holding steady in P3, wanting to just make sure that they hold on to that P3. And with Cold Trickle 54 seconds behind, the possibilities of doing so, at least at the moment, seem high. But again, damage, front damage costs you some 20 seconds a lap, and the pit stop loss, you know, is roughly around the same. So you don't want the extra pit stop, you don't want damage at all, you want to bring it home nice and easy. Okay, Cole Trickle currently sitting pretty right now in P4, almost equal the gap in front as the gap is behind to TBC Iceman. I know TBC Iceman was on a tear. He's got a 16-second gap currently to Mr. Racing behind, who actually just got by Deputy Fishtail. So apologies, folks. We just missed that overtake as I was cycling through the field. But you can see Mr. Fishtail, not Mr. Fishtail, Deputy Fishtail is in the sights of Mr. Racing here. But it looks at the moment that Mr. Racing has just enough to stay ahead as they complete their 8th lap, their 7th racing lap. So at least in the current moment, it's proving beneficial for Mr. Racing to have made that extra pit stop, both him and TBC Iceman. But you know, you can see it already. TBC Iceman is, you know, just currently he's just racing at a level above, but Deputy Fishtail just in the first sector alone closed that gap down by a second. So you know, it seems like Deputy Fishtail definitely has quite the advantage, at least in the Grand Prix section of the circuit. So let's just stay here for a little while and see if you know, you can close that gap down. You can see you know, another factor that might be happening here is the level of downforce that each driver is running now. I know, you know, for me, the downforce levels were cranked, you know, a little bit higher than you know, the car would normally be using in the BOP, just based on the, you know, sheer number of corners here. But you know, definitely trying to, you know, minimize the amount of rear downforce that you have. You know, certainly helps in the top speed department, right? But it certainly happens to you coming out of corners, so you got to be extra careful in that regard, right? These are rear wheel drive cars, right? So the power is sent to the back wheels. So the less downforce you have, right, the less, you know, suction to the ground and friction created in the rear of the car, the faster the top speed. However, the as you know, the lower the downforce amount, the less grip and stability that you have in cornering. So it's, you know, it's a I don't want to say double-edged sword, but you know, it's pros and cons. So as we just complete this sector here, you know, it looks like the gap is widened just a little bit more to 1.6, 1.7 seconds. So you tell that, you know, there are ebbs and flows between these two. You know, maybe there's a different level of circuit experience, you know, in certain sections of the this particular layout between the Grand Prix of 24 hours or the beginning of the Nordschleife, between the two drivers. See, they're making their way down the hill now. Here's a you know, like I said, a challenging set of corners. In fact, in my only stint in Stint 7 last week, this is the section where I had my one and only crash on the very last lap. So, you know, kudos to both drivers for, you know, handling that very well. You can see there, you know, there's just either a difference in downforce levels, difference in confidence there, but that gap that was once that gap was at 1.4, something changed. There was a variable that changed as they made their way to this section of the track where gap widened by another second. So, I'll promise to try and check in on this a little bit more often here. You can see Iceman here, not actually being able to close the gap per se. It's a cold trickle. I think the last time we looked, it was still like around this level of gap. So, he definitely did a good job with separating himself from Mr. Racing and Deputy Fishtail. But there's still mountains to climb here to get in the sights of the Sector 7 Racing Phoenix car up in front. But again, we're on the 7th of 12 stints, so it doesn't all have to be done at once. We have, after this stint, still 10 hours of racing to go. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick scan again, just to see where everyone's at. Deputy Fishtail closing by another 0.2 or not. So yeah, definitely different confidence levels depending on which part of the circuit we're talking about here. As well as, that's where the downforce levels might come into play, right? The more downforce you have, the lower your top speed, especially if you apply a lot of downforce to the rear of the car, but the better you are at cornering. So we don't know what any of the drivers set for their downforce. But knowing that the weather wasn't going to come into play, even though you see Steve-O's windshield wipers going, there's certainly no rain in the forecast for this stint, as well as any of the stints, I believe, right? I think it's supposed to be relatively sunny all weekend at the Nürburgring. You can see here Kerpale, that initial charge by Marky there has certainly halted, and in fact Kerpale was actually able to widen the gap a little bit by just over 1.5 seconds from the last time we looked at this this battle between the two of them. So let's check and see. Doesn't appear that anything in particular happened to Marky Mark, but you can tell that the tire wear. Oh no! Oh jeez. I apologize. It might be commentator's curse there. Oh man, let's see what happened. Yeah, so just going into this corner right here. Definitely want to be on the power. Oh, just a little bit too much grass. Oh no. Okay, so that charge is it's going to be halted for now. I tell you, I don't know how these things end up happening, but that's certainly going to alter the strategy there. As you can see from before the accident, it was at 12.7 seconds. Now it is at 27 seconds. But it just remains to be seen what the 10/10 racing team chooses to do here. We're on lap 9. This is the 8th of 14 racing laps. So after this one, he'll have 6 left to go. The race engineers are going to be crunching the numbers to see if 6 laps are possible using the RCF here. My first instinct would be no, but listen, that's why I'm not a race engineer. Oh, hold on. Sorry guys, I gotta cycle through the field. Ghost Viper Gaming here in the Mercedes, the 777s. Hoping to get a little bit lucky as the gap is still sizable in front and in back. Not really too much to say here, other than just looking to take a couple chunks here, and surely over the course of this next lap he's going to take a sizable chunk out of the 10/10 racing team car, the number 10 car that's in front. Looking at MF Toretto in the other Lexus of the Garage 46 team. You know, he's just keeping it steady, but he does have front damage still. And let me make sure that I have this correct. I think he did pit on lap 6 into lap 7, or did he pit lap? I'm not too sure, but he has damage again after doing at least one pit stop. So oh my goodness, it's going a little bit wide there on the straight. Definitely don't want to do that. So let's see. You know, he might be pitting again. But you know, currently Garage 36 can't seem to catch a break there. Again, you know, the gap between P12 and P13 itself is about 1 lap, and you know, MF Toretto is currently 2 laps down on the leader. So you know, just looking to minimize damage here, knowing that in Stint 8 the One Community by SBR team is going to be serving quite a lengthy penalty for disconnecting. So MF Toretto is going to stay out. It's, you know, it's in their estimation not worth doing the extra pit stop to fix this damage, especially given the 7 minute 12 seconds gap behind. They're not really in too much danger here, so maybe they're just like, oh yeah, just keep going, and you know, we'll fix it later. You know, not really in danger of losing anything, and you know, it'd be a difficult gain ahead. So Race Asylum Orange, you know, currently sitting in P13, likely to be P13 in the next stint. Size, like, oh geez, I don't know what it is, guys. Maybe I should just not even like spectate the race, because I feel like I'm a bad luck. Oh no. Gotta keep it together. I know it's late. It's 11:26 p.m. on the East Coast. You know, it looks like Heathen here in the Race Asylum Orange team is an American, so time of day. Yeah, I know, JG. I just got to do it, I guess. You know, it's 11:27 p.m. on the East Coast, pretty late. So you know, I could understand if, you know, he's starting to maybe nod off a little bit. You know, wouldn't blame him. Switching back to Speed Hunter here. So gap came down, you know, from 155 to 146, then up to, hey man, it's late for me, bro. It's certainly late for me, bro. So Speed Hunter with a 1 minute 46 second, 1 minute 47 second gap. So holding nice and steady here. You know, not too much to complain about. You know, I'm just gonna hurry up and get off the camera before I cause any damage here too. We'll go over to Baba Yaga flow, and I promise I will respect. Yeah. There's nothing. Listen, to some box. There's like nothing better than when you're playing a video game and you fall asleep with the controller in your hand, and you just wake up, and then you just wake up. What is it like? You know, maybe like an hour after a short nap there, and the controller's still in your hand, and the game is fortunately paused, and you don't even know how you did it. But those days are long gone for me, you know. I miss those days. And nothing to worry about, except, you know, just making sure you showed up at your own mom's house for okay, you got me on the technicality there, but you knew what I meant. You know, just waking up and you know, you can just get yourself together, take a quick shower, and then just roll up to your mom's house and, you know, celebrate your Mother's Day with just your mom. But now there's three moms in the picture. You know, my mother, my mother-in-law, and my wife. So, you know, got to make sure in the States that you're all prepared for that. Not sure when what Mother's Day is around the rest of the world, but in the United States it's tomorrow, or in half an hour on the East Coast. So happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there in the community, or those who are you know, kind enough to let us be in the community. Okay, so quick switch the camera again before anything happens. Looking at the Bez Racing team, you know, pretty much the same situation. I think that gap has increased just a little bit to P2 in front, but again, you know, at this point, you know, 11 laps in, 10 racing laps in, with 4 laps to go. Oh, nice. Yes, happy Mother's Day to all the Canadian mothers as well. Yeah, so Vez Racing team definitely looking to just keep it together. Looks like there's maybe a lap left of fuel there, so they'll be coming in at the end of this lap and then going on to their third of 3 stints on tires. Cole Trickle there, 1 minute 23 seconds behind, a 31.891, and he has front left tire damage. Oh, that is certainly not going to be good. Surely Iceman behind has taken notice of that. I think that the last time we looked here, there was like a 50 something second gap, and Cole Trickle's going to go in. So that means they're going to do laps 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15, which might be, you know, it might have been a scheduled stint, maybe not, but 5 laps is certainly doable on these tires. However, when he comes out after refueling, he'll likely be behind Iceman, as Iceman is finishing his lap now. So we'll see if Iceman is going long now. Yes, he is. He's going to go long here and then likely do a shorter stint afterwards. So what we're looking at now is Cole Trickle is going to fuel to the end as he comes out of the pits right now, and he's going to come out 6 seconds behind Iceman, right? So this outlap is crucial for the Sector 7 Phoenix racing team, because Iceman, knowing Iceman has 1 stop left to go, you know, you want to close that gap as much as possible, if not overtake him, so that way when he serves that stop, you have a healthy gap for the rest of the race, the 4 laps that are left after this one. Mr. Racing, 25 seconds behind, has managed to build that gap up to Deputy Fishtail to 7.5 seconds. So, you know, really for them in 4, 5, 6, and 7th place, all 4 of those teams, you know, oh my goodness, as Mr. Racing goes a little bit wide there, gets a little bit of grass. Not too sure why that happened, but certainly Deputy Fishtail has seen that. Honestly, it might have been another commentator's curse there. Let's see what happened here. Not too sure why one would go off there, but again, it's really late on a Saturday night in the States, and it just looks like he just understeered right off. Good on him to try and get back to the track as soon as possible, because it would be even worse. It'd be even worse if you know, he got reset to track at 0 miles per hour. He might have lost that position. So yeah, I guess commentator's curse, and it certainly doesn't have anything to do with him driving a BMW. Okay, not trying to hear that in chat. But Deputy Fishtail in the Lexus got a couple seconds closer. I do believe both drivers are likely to do a pit stop in the next lap or so. Deputy Fishtail's tires looking a little bit worse, as is the case sometimes with pushing the car to its max. Steve-O actually managing, You know, Steve-O, we haven't talked much about Steve-O here, but you know, I'm pretty sure Steve-O at one point had a minute plus gap to the folks in front, and that gap has closed quite a bit to 37 seconds here. I assume that he turned them on manually and he just never turned them off, and he probably doesn't use cockpit view, so maybe he doesn't even know that they're on. Right. I mean, you might be able to hear them, but you know, maybe sometimes, you know, people aren't really aren't listening to it. I believe this JP, you made this livery to, for them as well, right? Because I remember talking about this at the 24 hours of 24 hours of Daytona. I remember commenting on this Panda livery and how dope it looked. And I do believe you did say that it was another one of your creations, so still have the same thoughts, still looking dope. Yeah, but 36 seconds right between P8 and P7, so you know, P8 is within a minute of, just over a minute from P5, and a minute and a half between P4 and P8. So no, not the Panda. Oh, okay, my bad. Okay, so P4 through P8 are, you know, closer than ever. Kerpale is 3 minutes and 6 seconds behind this. Oh, okay, gotcha. Race Asylum Orange, gotcha. That would make sense. Okay, so Kerpale into the pits, perhaps for the last time. You know, doing this lap 11, 12, 13, 14, finishing up these last, nope, 5 laps. 15. Right. Gotcha. Yeah, man. Oh, let me cut away here before the fuel tank explodes or something and the game crashes, because you know, I've been on that kind of tear lately. I just don't know how it's possible that I could have just caught so many incidents, but you know, that is the Nürburgring for you, I tell you. So Ted Racing, it seems that there are, oh my goodness, I would be devastated. It seems like 10 tenths Racing, the number 10 car is condemned to 10th place for now. I don't know, maybe it'd be considering a name change after this, for some better luck at Monza. Change the team name to 1/100th or something like that. I don't know. Change it to focus on one, and then the results may follow. 5 fits. Yeah, but I get it. Like 10 tenths is like 1 second, right? 10 tenths is 1. So 1 ones. They gotta do something, man, because the GT7 gods are not looking favorably on them right now. They were so close, 1/10. Yes, there it is. Set it to that. As you know, they go 1/10 and some change purple on Baba Yaga's fastest lap, which is still standing right now of 8 minutes 5 seconds, 0.497. But yeah, I'm very quickly just going to turn away from that, just because I don't want to be held responsible for any of this. If an accident happens, Ghost Viper goes into the pits. Okay, so you know, we have that. MF Toretto, Garage 46, 3 minutes 40 seconds behind that. 7:59 to Race Asylum Orange in P13 right now, and P13 right now, and again, you know, not currently scheduled to be last. I'm not sure how long that penalty is going to be for one community SBR. Remember, they had a 15 and a half minute wait to get into this race, which they did not serve before disconnecting. So the penalty for missing the entire stint, surely that's going to tack on. Whether or not that's 25 seconds at the end of it, I'm not sure. I'm sure Ray is doing the calculations and whatnot, and yeah, we'll take a look at the leader again. Who's on lap 12? Yeah, just making their way to the second carousel. Oh, and Mr. Racing was on the medium tire. Okay, so that is interesting. I think that's the first medium tire choice I've seen all weekend. So let's see what tire he ends up on here. Or I don't know if he changed tires. Refuel battle is happening for sure right now. Steve-O's into the pits as well. Steve-O didn't have to refuel nearly as much as Deputy Fishtail, but you know, that's certainly going to be an issue as well. Millions. Taking a good time to go purple. That gap has increased back up to 1 minute and 53 seconds. So I think it's a net gain of 3 seconds over the course of this stint for Baba Yaga. Currently very much a two-horse race unless something else changes. Vez Racing Team holding down P3 pretty solidly here. Cole Trickle of the Sector 7 Racing Phoenix team 1 minute behind that, and Iceman closing down that gap 24 seconds behind. So you know, Iceman is looking to take that P4 away from Cole Trickle. Remember, Cole Trickle had to defend pretty early on from Mr. Racing, and then Mr. Racing had that unfortunate incident in which he had to Mr. Racing had to do a couple laps there from the start with damage. You know, Iceman is looking to avoid the same fate with, you know, a Force Ghost sending his car the wrong way. Just a second, you guys. Just listen to the sounds of the car moving around the track. Okay, all right, let's take a look at this. Iceman here, fuel to the end, tires are good to the end, 47-second gap to SRP. Mr. Racing, 40 here. So it's looking like, you know, he's going to try and close in a little bit on Sector 7 Racing, Phoenix. Definitely quite the ask. But you know, certainly possible. You look at Mr. Racing here, he was on the medium tire last stint. Quite the interesting choice. Medium tires were not required. Maybe he was doing it just because of the elongated stint. He felt more comfortable with the tire life on that medium tire. Deputy Fishtail 7.2 seconds behind, looking to at least just maintain that gap, as you know, there's certainly potential for a battle between P7 and P6 during the next stint. And then yeah, looking at Deputy Fishtail holding it nice and steady, just trying to make, you know, little gains here and there, right? Don't have to get it all at once again. Steve-O, you just honestly on a tear. Like I feel like Steve-O has just systematically taken chunks out of the 4 racers, the 5 racers in front of him, quietly and effectively. You know, for maybe the first third of this race, we're looking at Steve-O, it's like, oh yeah, it's a minute, you know, it's a minute, and all of a sudden it's 30 seconds. Now all of a sudden it's you know, 19. So you know, that pan delivery, the panda power, really working well for the Speed Buddy Racing team here. Speed is certainly their friend right now. Morning route, although it's still you know, evening for me. It's 11:47 for me, but I think you're an hour ahead, right? So happy Mother's Day to all the mothers, you know, that you know, and all the mothers that are special to you and to all the viewers. Okay, so quickly just cycling through, curb hail with a 25-second gap. Marky Mark has gone into the pits to fix that damage, back out on track, looking to close that gap again and avoid the 10th place curse. Goes Viper Gaming, who his only crash that we saw, the only crash we saw at Ghost Viper Gaming have was right when the broadcast started, right when the stream started, when we were on the outlap, and inexplicably he spun out at 80 miles an hour or less. We'll have to ping him and see what happened there later on when this is all said and done. But you know, quite a scary moment there. But you know, so far, you know, it's been, you know, all 7s holding tight, nice and steady. MF Toretto, 3 minutes 26 seconds behind that, and currently the gap to the Race Asylum orange representative is, oh, it's large, and there's more damage. Looks like they pit on lap 9 into lap 10 and had to pit again. So you know, the number 9 car having, you know, all kinds of bad luck. Currently 26 minutes and 36 seconds behind the leader. That equates to, you know, 3 laps down at the Nürburgring. At this point, even with the back-to-back disconnects, you know, they might be starting stint number 8 actually in last place. Okay, the leader is starting starting lap 14 right now, 1 minute 52 seconds ahead of the second place driver, going purple in the first sector. You can see Steve-O there. So Steve-O looks like he might be pulling over sometime soon, although he was on a tear, certainly catching Mr. Racing in front, but he's gonna have to yield, at least for the time being, to Speed Hunter in a couple corners here as he closes in, which certainly would hamper you know, the progress of full throttle racing. All right, so looking at Deputy Fishtail, so he's just 5 seconds ahead of that. So again, you know, Mr. Racing has Deputy Fishtail in his sights in front. He has Steve-O 8 seconds behind, and just behind Steve-O is P1 in Speed Hunter. So might be looking at a situation where all of these guys have to you know, be moving out of the way in a little bit here, because again, we're racing until the end of lap 15 and then we go into the pits. So 2 more racing laps for Speed Hunter, 3 for Fishtail, Iceman, Mr. Racing, Steve-O, and Cold Trickle. I think they're all in the same situation. So yeah, you can see as we still go to the same camera for Mr. Racing and Steve-O here. You can see Steve-O is clearly under the blue flags warning. So, you know, these 3 are, you know, certainly shaping up for an exciting finish here to the end of the stint. You know, they started a little bit further apart, but you know, surely Steve-O's gonna have to yield soon. I don't know that Speed Hunter has flashed, although, you know, with the sun out now, I don't know that that's terribly effective. Yeah, blue flags have been going for quite a little bit here. Surely Steve-O sees it, and there's contact. There might have been contact there. We can take a look at that and see exactly what happened there. But you know, certainly the blue flag needs to be understood between the 2 drivers. So we're looking at Steve-O here now in the 910 car. I'm just tilting the camera this way just to make sure we have the view. And it looks like there is some contact here. Neither driver had damage, but you know, certainly there were better areas for the 910 car to yield to Speed Hunter. But now Steve-O's going to be wanting to use the slipstream for one, to catch P7 and P6, but also to unlap himself, because now P8 is 1 lap down. P7 now getting those blue flag warnings, and he has damage to the front, rear, and right side bumper. I don't know if I missed that before or if that's new, but you know, this BMW M6 here is you know, worse for wear. So certainly he's going to be caught by Steve-O. He's going to be caught by Speed Hunter, and you know, he's looking to be kind of out of options. So you can see the flashing lights in the background there. Speed Hunter letting Mr. Racing know that he's coming. Mr. Racing currently has not given an indication as to which way he's going to go, but Speed Hunter is right behind him right now, and it looks like an actual overtake needs to happen. Or did he move over well, he moved over slightly to the side, but he didn't have to lift because of the damage. But no indicator given to indicate that he was going to move to the right side. So, you know, we look again behind. There's Steve-O. So Steve-O looking to capitalize on this, get P8, take P8 away from Deputy Fishtail. And it looks like it's going to happen any second now. Certainly now Mr. Racing does not have to move out of the way, so you know, in theory you could at least hold out through this section, because it's really difficult between the carousels to get an overtake done without contact and doing it cleanly. You know, Mr. Racing, all he needs to do is just put his car in the middle of the track, and it looks like he yielded the position there. I think he recognized that, you know, he just didn't have the pace there, and just allowed the overtake to happen. So let's see. Going into the section, there's a little bit of a bump. It seems like it kind of threw him offline. There might have been a little bit of contact there, actually. So you know, I might have been mistaken. I don't think he intended to give the position up, but you know, needless to say, Steve-O is gone and now has sights on Deputy Fishtail. So 7.1 seconds there. TBC Iceman 1 minute 16 seconds in front. Since we last looked, the gap has closed down to 9.8 seconds. So it remains to be seen. TBC Iceman with the last lap setting an 8 minute .4. Goes purple the first sector again. And let's see, Cold Trickle last time around the track set an 8 minute 18, with his best being an 8 minute 14. So we're looking at, you know, something in striking distance before the end of this race, as you see Iceman just making his way down to the hairpin at the bottom of the Grand Prix circuit. You know, Cole's going to be handing off this position if nothing else changes, in a tight battle between himself and or between Sector 7 Phoenix and Medway Racing League. So look at Deputy Fishtail. He is currently being lapped right by MFT Speed Hunter. What's up, VKG? Trying to use that slipstream as they go down the straight just to stick with him. Let's just hold off Steve-O for a little bit longer. Steve-O currently 4.5. It's Deputy Fishtail looking to wrap up this P6 battle and make a move. And you know, that's Mr. Racing behind, who has the damage, so surely he's not going to be in this battle, and likely going to ride it out until the end. He could make a pit stop without risking P9, but I think the calculations probably show for his team that, you know, should just stick it out and then hand it off to the next stint and see if they can get back into this thing. Yeah, the two battles are the two battles to watch right now are Steve-O just starting to close the gap, 4.3 seconds, 4.4 seconds to Deputy Fishtail in front, and then TBC Iceman with a little bit larger of a gap, but also closing in on Sector 7 Racing Cole Trickle. So these battles might be coming to a head at the same time. I almost wish I had picture in picture, but you know, we'll certainly settle for this. 3.9. So it looks like the battle's going to come to a head here first between Steve-O and Deputy Fishtail. But you know, we'll keep tabs between the two. Also occasionally checking on the leader, who's just a quarter into the 15th lap, right? The final lap for him. So he's going to be coming into the pits to hand off to the next Transatlantic Racing representative. Started their stint 8 as he goes purple in that sector. So let's quickly head back here to Deputy Fishtail's battle with Steve-O, 3.8 seconds. TBC Iceman, 6.3 seconds. Now these guys all have one more lap after this one to fight it out. So surely both battles are going to come to a head before the end of the stints for these respective teams. Well, after MFT Speed Hunter of the Transatlantic Racing Team hands off into the next stint. So looking at that gap, it's down to 3.5 and closing. Tires are looking fresh on that car. Windshield wipers are going just in case. You know, the sun is out. There's no clouds in the sky, but you know, sometimes maybe a sprinkler on the lawn there might go off and, you know, cause some visibility issues. Maybe it's a good luck charm, but you can see there, you know, in Steve-O's sights, there's just something about when you see that car, when you've been working to try and close that gap, and then you see that car ahead, there's something about just it being a carrot on a stick, and you're the hungry rabbit or the hungry dog that's chasing after it. You know, just in the couple corners there, down to 2.6. So, you know, again, once catching is one thing, overtaking is another, and the imperative here of Steve-O here from the Speed Buddy Racing Team is to make sure that the overtake gets done cleanly for both drivers and nobody ends up in the barrier, because we've seen it before too many times where you know, an overtake opportunity has gone wrong. Speaking of overtake opportunities, it does not look like the 10/10 team is going to be able to do quite enough to rescue themselves from the 10 car in 10th place curse. But, you know, Mark is certainly making gains here. And, you know, they'll be in a good position to do so in the next stint. Bouncing back here to the lead. Just over halfway through the last racing lap for Speed Hunter here. He is flying on track, and he's been ultimately consistent. Not the fastest lap of the race. Baba Yaga flow has you know, improved that, you know, just a bit. It's an 804.9, but you can see 806 a lap where they pit. 805, 806. So all of the standard laps that we were able to see right here, you know, are just about there, right? Just about the fastest, you know, on track. And you can see it in the fact that the gap between P1 and P2 has not really fluctuated too much. The biggest gap, you know, decrease that we've seen was, you know, dropping to 1 minute 49 seconds after serving a 1 second penalty on the Duttinger straight. So, you know, a couple more corners here for Speed Hunter, and he's gonna bring it home. Checking in on this battle between Iceman. Iceman has closed the gap down to 2.1 seconds. You know, you can see right there as they both go down the straight, leading into their final laps. Right, this battle's gonna heat up. Steve-O even closer to Deputy Fishtail, 1.5 seconds. So, you know, we're just gonna I got my hands on all the keys. We're gonna check out the leader as he makes his way through the sections between the carousels. We're also gonna check here with Cole Trickle down that long straight gap, closing ever so slightly. There might be a difference between downforce levels here, because it seems like Iceman certainly has quite the advantage on the straight. You know, Cole Trickle using the Aston Martin, which is, you know, pretty good all-around car, and then Iceman in the GTR, which previously had pretty big issue with sixth gear, but I'm really having to worry about that too much. 1.1 seconds the gap here, less than 1 second the gap here between Steve-O and Deputy Fishtail. So everything to play for here as they go through the second carousel and make their way onto the back straight. Just in front of them is MFT Speed Hunter, right? So 1.2 to Iceman, between Iceman and Cold Trickle, and here's where it's going to be. Deputy Fishtail taking the inside. Is there a little bit of bump drafting going on? I think Steve-O's trying to size up when he wants to make this overtake done, so he's helping Deputy Fishtail for the moment, but I expect, yep, right there, moving to the right hand side. The only question would be is if it was too early, but it appears not. Yeah, it looks like Deputy Fishtail actually let off there just so he could just get back into the slipstream. So I think the priority for him was to make sure that he stays close. Now coming into the pits to begin the process of handoffs, and guys, we're gonna be here for a little bit because the difference between P1 and P13 is just about 26 minutes. So the handoff can begin now between Transatlantic and the next representative here. Now, if we look at difference between Cold Trickle here and TBC Iceman, gap is right there, less than a second. You can just see it. Just waiting for the next long straight, waiting for that next opportunity, and that opportunity is going to come in the next 3 corners. So this is one, and then there's 2 more right-handers before this is pretty much all flat out. Is it going to be flat out right now with the tire wear and Dirty Air? Yeah, he had to lift quite a bit there, so that's gonna just about holding on there. So Dirty Air is certainly becoming a factor, and he might be running less downforce, so that complicates the situation even more. Aviaga Flow making his way down the back straight, 1 minute and 54 seconds behind Speed Hunter of Transatlantic, looking to hand this off to the next representative of DMR Endurance. Didn't have really much to say about these guys. They did a good job, hanging in there, trying to close that gap down, but unfortunately it looks like it's a stalemate there between these two teams. Certainly looking forward to the next 10 hours of racing for them. There's definitely an opportunity to make that gap disappear. So in to the pits that car went. So let's check on this battle again. So TBC Iceman recovering from that little mishap, down to a second here. Cole doing really good to hold him off, but I'm telling you, as soon as that next stint kicks off, there's going to be fireworks between these two cars as they come around to complete this last lap. And then quickly checking in on Deputy Fishtail, he seems to have fallen back a little bit from Steve-O out in front. So it's looking like it's going to be somewhat comfortable for Steve-O to hand off to the next Speed Buddy Racing team member with that lead intact. And now that TBC Iceman is dealing with the dirty air and excessive tire wear, getting an overtake done on Cold Trickle is becoming increasingly difficult. So, certainly looking for battles between P4 and P5, P6 and P7, with P8 looking to, get back into the thick of things here as they go on. The Vez Racing team, fairly consistent. The gap kind of decreased a little bit to the team in front. It increased to the team in front by I think about 40 seconds over the course of the stint. So, you know, it's increasingly becoming you know, not necessarily a question of whether you can gain P1 or P2. More a question of whether you can hold off Cole Trickle behind, and then Cole Trickle dealing with the immediate threat of Iceman right behind him as they go into the first carousel. You know, really difficult to get an overtake done here. Iceman is going to be struggling with those dirty tires, but you know, any slip up right now between Cole and Iceman, and the overtake will be done. Not to mention that they, you know, have a super long straight at the end of this. You know, we saw Steve-O last lap use a brilliant strategy of giving a couple bump traps to Deputy Fishtail before getting the overtake done. Very patient, make sure he did it in the safe way. As Cole and Iceman go into the YouTube corner, get that done. Looking pretty good, a good exit there, gaining another 10th. But then Iceman closing that right back down and then some. Cole Trickle going wide and it leaves the door open for Iceman, and it looks like that move is just about cleaned up. But again, you know, Cole Trickle, you know, originally searching for a little bit of room there, decides better of it, and looks like he's going to just try and hold on until the long straight, and now he'll be in the position to try and you know, figure out a good strategy to getting that overtake done on that long straight. So just really quickly, I'm going to check in on, nope, I'm not, because he, you know, once he goes into the pits, we will see it. Yeah, TVC Iceman just about, oh, he didn't get a good exit there. 2 more corners to go. Certainly got to have a better exit here, and it looks like Cole Trickle does a really good job here closing down that gap. It's looking like it's at 6/10. That might not be close enough. We're gonna just go quickly back and forth between these two battles. Yeah, it looks like Cole Trickle is just suffering with the amount of downforce that he does not have, because this gap is just increasing the further they go down the straight. As P3 makes their way in, so the handoff has happened there. Yeah, Cole Trickle falling behind by a couple tenths here. So you know, there's got to be an obvious difference here in the levels of downforce that these guys are running, such that Cole went from 6/10 down at the beginning of the straight to 2 seconds down at the end of it. Both drivers are into the pits. So we'll check to see when that happens. Okay, both drivers are in. Okay, Steve-O making his way onto that back straight, 6 seconds clear of Deputy Fishtail, but again, definitely expecting to see battles between P4 and 5 currently in stint 8, and then likewise here for P7 and P6. Then actually, let's get a good look at yeah, so Mr. Racing choosing to stay with the damage here. Looks like that gap is increased quite a bit to 30 seconds, but again, we've seen it on multiple occasions that, you know, 30-second gap has been wiped out. You know, if you look at Iceman, he was like maybe a minute and a half clear of these guys, and just had a brilliant stint here for the Medway Racing League team. So both P6 and P7 into the pits. They'll be getting their process of handing it off, and you know, we'll go from the light of this stint to the dark of the next stint. I believe the next 2 stints start at midnight, and then they have various multipliers. So P6 in, P7 making their way in now. Surely the refuel strategy will come into play for those guys. Mr. Racing making his way in. 34 seconds behind these guys. And a lot of fuel left. So, fuel strategy for, most of these racers, including P1, right? So, we're looking at this 19.72. Vez Racing Team did a good job, it seems, of optimizing that fuel load. As P8 now hands off. TBC Iceman did a really good job. 1 liter of fuel left. Pretty good by Cole and Steve-O. Maybe not as much for Deputy Fishtail and Mr. Racing, but Kerpale will be the next driver, barring any accident, to head into the pits. Mark has closed that gap down over the past 5 minutes by another 3 or 4 seconds. So it'll be up to the next driver for 10/10ths to try and get them out of that name trap of 10th place. Kerpale doing a pretty good job. 8-minute 15, 8-minute 15, 8-minute 13s with this Porsche. Really good and consistent, especially considering the tire wear. You look at those tires, all 4 tires are underneath 50% life left. With the new tire model, you're looking at once you get to 1/3 of tire life left, they kind of go off a cliff. But yeah, now Kerpale can breathe a little bit easier. Just need to figure out one more braking point. Just easy on the throttle, just don't spin it sideways, and just make sure you actually go into the pit. We don't want a situation in which you're struggling to hand off to the next driver, and I certainly don't want that either. Yeah, coming down the straight for the last time, or the last time before you go and collect your credits, for the last time competitively. And yeah, one more corner to go. And Kerpale will be heading into the pits right now. And readying his teammate in the next stint. Hopefully not saying go until that car is stopped, because very easily to make a mistake with. And but now would be the time to get going. Now as 10/10ths make mark for the 10/10ths racing team making their way into the pits. Pit crew ready to go, ready to change some tires, but they're going to be standing there for a little bit longer as we wait for the drivers behind in P11, P12, and P13 to make their way into the pits, some of which have a couple laps to go here. Yeah, so the handoff should be happening now for 10/10ths Racing, and then Ghost Viper, who did a good job of unlapping himself early in the race, but sometimes it's more difficult to power through when there's not too many people around you. So yeah, Ghost Viper, doing a good job of flinging that Mercedes around this track for 14 racing laps, and just a couple more corners to go before handing it off. Just want to check here, see what's going on here. This might be like an actual pit stop. like a racing pit stop. Yes. So Race Asylum Orange has a couple more laps to go. And Toretto sporting that damage for Garage 46. But yes, Ghost Viper making their way to the end of their stint. Job well done. Go get some sleep. It's wherever you are in the US, unless you're in Hawaii, it's getting pretty late, so enjoy that rest, hand off to your team, especially if this is your last stint. You can take a nap and then tune in a little bit later to see how this thing ends. Right now I'm trying to find okay, yes, Cupcake has commentary of stint number 8. So when this is done, I'll teleport you guys over there, or I will post the link somewhere. Nope, that is not the link. Pin that there, and then while we cheer on Toretto here, Garage 46, surely, maybe you're not in contention to finish in first place. However, just finishing is an accomplishment in itself, because I know how many times I've done races here, shorter races here, just for like Gran Turismo World Series, and events happen on track, and it's just like, I don't even know if I want to do this. So, kudos to these guys for sticking it out despite being a couple laps down. It really shows good sportsmanship, and being a good steward of the community that Race Asylum has put together here, of some of the most talented drivers in Gran Turismo 7 across 2 splits, 28 teams, with several super fast members per team competing in multiple endurance events, and what quite honestly is the best endurance league that this game has to offer. It doesn't, I think it's in its 2nd year, and already it's exploded, double the size. So if any of you guys are watching, are interested in joining a team, make sure you get yourselves into that Discord. I'll have to find it the link somewhere. But yeah, I know a couple of community members of mine have joined after the qualifying round this season. Especially, they announced that they were going to open it up to a 2nd split. It's incredible how quickly 14 extra teams got added. On back-to-back weekends, you have the official broadcast of Stint 1, and then you have broadcasts from, more often than not, the race director's view for Stint 2. But you still get to see all of the racing action and take it in all the same. So yeah, certainly an exciting event, and in a month's time, we'll have the 8 hours of Monza, I believe. So another super exciting event, a lot shorter. Yeah, still very very interesting, and you'll see a lot more side-by-side action, whether cars are on the same lap or on different laps, because obviously the track is shorter. Yeah. Let's see here. So Toretto's making his way down the straight. For the last time. Round of applause. Getting the job done, right? No matter how many bumps and bruises you get, no matter how much you get knocked down, you just gotta get back up. You gotta keep fighting, because we still have 10 hours to go, and fortunes can turn at any moment. Things can get better, things can get worse, but things always change. So if you're at a low point, just gotta look forward to when things come back to you. So the swap handoff for Toretto's team in Garage 46 is going to happen shortly here, and then I think we have like another lap and a half for Race Asylum Orange to complete here. So nice thing is, even though we didn't really get much time to focus on the number 9 car here, the number 9 Nissan, now we can focus on it exclusively for the rest of the broadcast. Uninterrupted 1.5 laps, 1.25 laps, let's say, of uninterrupted action. Bringing it home is the number 9 car of Race Asylum Orange. One more lap to go. no, 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 no. Gotta bring it home, Brad. Gotta bring it home. All right, almost done, guys. By the way, I have a link pinned in chat. I can't raid Cupcake. They don't have their settings set up for me to raid. So, you know, feel free to just click that link that's pinned in chat, and you can check out all the Stint 8 action there if you haven't already checked it out. Yeah, with this, we're going to be coming to a close. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys, well, I'll see you guys soon. Take care.